All right, episode 50 Cent.
50-50, yo.
Murder, I don't believe you, murder. Fuck around and leave you, murder. I don't believe you.
First of all, congrats to us, 50 episodes.
Hey.
Yo, man, that's a task right there.
Yep. It's a lot of getting drunk.
A lot of good times.
But
and crazy fucking conversations.
So we missed his last episode because we rambled about Meek Mill so much, and now this is like so long past the point. I think we just spend minimal time on it. But Joyner versus Tory Lanez.
Yo, I the first two rounds. I wasn't really particularly impressed with either one of them in the first two rounds.
It wasn't that hot, but you saw them on live together, right? Like they were all.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh no, they're all cool and shit. Like.
Oh, they're cool now?
No, they've been cool. Like, it wasn't like a beef thing. Like, it was like, like...
It was just like, let's bar out together?
Yeah, you know what? And that's what I respected about it, though. It was like, oh, you think you're the nicest. And other dudes like, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay, well, let's flex skills. So that's one thing I respected for it. I'm sorry, there's some weird shit happening down by my legs right now. There's like a girl crawling down there. She's grabbing a fucking puppy. This is fucking awkward. Okay.
Yeah. Yo.
So if you got that dog all handled, then I'll close this door, and yeah, we can continue. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, so yeah, that threw me off.
So
but
you heard all the rounds? Like
I heard all the rounds.
What was there 3?
Yeah, and to me, it's like one of those battles where, to be honest with you, like people are picking sides. I couldn't really pick a side, like because they both did their thing, like. Joyner did what he was supposed to. I think he could have came a little harder for being known as a lyricist. But the thing is about Tory is people don't, like we talked about this before when you went up on Flex, like people don't look at Tory like a lyricist because he makes a lot of hit records, like singing records and shit. But Tory can rap.
He killed it on Flex.
He's been being able to rap. Like Tory's been nice as an MC. So like I think to a lot of Toronto mans that ain't a surprise, but I think to a lot of other people, like even a Joyner, like, oh yeah, you make hits, but you can't spit like me. But it's like
Tory's big now, but like I heard about him like
years ago,
super years ago.
Yeah,
like I heard about him a long.
It makes
time
me
ago.
wish I would have got that interview.
Right?
You know what I mean? But at the same time, like
I probably heard about him like at least fucking 7 years ago.
I just shared on Twitter
like
the other day. Someone shared a video of him when he was like in high school. Yeah. He hardly even looks like Tory Lanez, but you can tell it's him. Yeah. And the way he's spitting, it's just like it's like Cassidy meets like fucking Eminem almost, and like his bars are on point. They're sharp. You just stabbing this dude to death lyrically.
I liked him
and
back
it's
then.
him. It's like 15. It's like him in like high school or junior high, like he's got like a white tee on. It's like the super hot fire videos, or his boys are like,
yeah.
It's like that, except Tory's spitting bars.
Okay.
And I'm like, yo, like that's what I mean. Like Tory's been able to spit. Toronto knows it, but the rest of the world ain't ever seen it.
Yeah.
And because he's a hit record making guy, the thing is, like with Drake, when Drake came out, he focused on singing on hooks, but he still rapped on verses. So he immediately appealed to both audiences, as to where I feel like Tory like picks joints. He does like what Drake does now, but Drake already established himself as a lyricist early on.
Yeah.
Right? As to where Tory, he's got big off doing the crossover records.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at him like a singing dude. Like, and even the lines in Joyner shit, he's like, yo, like an R&B dude, or stick to singing or whatever. But it's like, for you to say that, you don't really know Tory.
Yeah, because like, when I first heard him, like, I think people in Canada probably know, but like people worldwide don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard him spit like.
So Tory
years
been
ago.
spitting, you know what I mean? So like, to me, it's no surprise. Like, and to be honest with you, like, see, Joyner makes more records focused on being an MC, which at the end of the day, like coming from the class like I'm from, what I respect in lyricism, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and even like
but Tory, he makes like hit records that I dig, and then when he does go lyrical, like I'm like, yo, he killed it.
Yeah.
But and that goes to the argument as well too. Like growing up, I was always like, yo, the dudes who make less lyrical records have the advantage because when they make one, they can use all the shit they've been thinking of for this long. Like when Jay-Z made Threat, it it wasn't fair to other rappers because, like, not to say the rest of the Black album wasn't sick, you know, public service announcement, like, fire, you know what I mean? But, like, look at the album before, like, the Blueprint, fire too, but it's not a fire in, like, bars, it's fire in, like, content, you know what I mean?
I wasn't really big on the Blueprint, but...
Oh, the Blueprint's fire. But, like, even before that, you know, like Hove, like, to me, like, Reasonable Doubt, you got a lot of bars, right? And then Volume 1, you got it on certain joints. You got it on, like, City Is Mine, Where I'm From, shit like that. Volume 2, I don't think you got many bars except for, like, It's Like This. And then Volume 3, you know, you got it on, like, So Ghetto. Dope Man was kind of conceptual, but it still had some bars. You know, like, it was, like, sporadic. It was spread out.
You were saying how, like, this year, Jay-Z has a lot of, on the previous episode, you said he has a lot of quotables
A lot of quotables, yeah.
Yo, Reasonable Doubt had a lot of quotables.
It did.
Reasonable Doubt was a lot of quotables.
I mean, one of the biggest quotables, we talked about this before, but, like, Divine Intervention, to me, that's one of the biggest quotables of all time. You know, got shot, what was it? Like, something like I got shot near brush, 2 shots, couldn't touch me, close range, Divine Intervention. And, like, D. Haven, his homie, you know what I mean? He was Divine Intervention. Like, he took the shells while Jay ran up the block and because he was safe because he was a little homie, you know what I mean? Like, all these shits, like, even Black Republican. Like, once you know the story of D. Haven, then you listen to Jay's music, you can tell what verses are about him. Black Republican, directly about D. Haven. Even though you was nothing but a son of my mother's friend, we had covenant. Who would have thought the love would end? Like, all that shit, that's all about, like, you know what I mean? But, like...
Okay, so I don't want to go too far out of where we're going. So you heard all 3 rounds. So who do you think...
It was only 2 rounds.
I thought it was 3.
To my knowledge, it was only 2, because Tory did his, then Joyner did Liddy, then Tory did Liddy again, and then Joyner did... the Kodak beat.
Okay. So who do you think of the 2 rounds?
To be honest with you, man, like, this isn't really a beef like that. Like, I think this is one of those things that's good for the culture.
Okay.
And I think it's good because it showed people that Tory ain't playing. Like, a lot of people that might have slept on his Funk Flex interview. Because, like, I fuck with Lil Baby, right? But Lil Baby just went and did Funk Flex. And I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't go peep it. Because I'm like, you know, I fuck with Lil Baby, but, like, do I fuck with Lil Baby like I fuck with Black Thought? Like, I fuck, like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, these other dudes who go up and do Flex, like, no, not really. Like, I'm not really trying to hear what Lil Baby has to do on Flex. Right. I'm sorry, because I fuck with Lil Baby. You know what I mean? Like, I like his music. But that's where we've got to in hip-hop. And I think that's the thing with this is that Tory is showing people, like, I'm not Lil Baby. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of these dudes. Like, don't just take me for sweet. Like, I really rap. And people from Toronto and shit know, like, Tory really raps, but the rest of the world doesn't. You know what I mean? They know him as, like, the Say It dude, or, like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah. People don't know outside of...
But so, to me, that's why this beef is important, but at the end of the day, you know, they're both cool with each other. Like, none of them, like, they don't really hate each other. They have some good calls on one another, you know what I mean? But I just think this type of competitiveness, it's like when Kendrick did the Control verse, you know what I mean? Like, it's important for the culture, but it's nothing serious. Right. And so at the end of the day, you know, I think Joyner did his thing. I think for Joyner, for being known as a lyricist, could have come harder. But at the end of the day, you know, Tory, I almost think in certain parts of it, tried too hard. Like, I think it was a pretty even fight, to be honest. Like, I don't think Joyner...
There's no clear...
Well, it's because you look at them in certain ways, right? Yeah. If they were both known to be Joyner Lucas type MCs, it'd be more judgeable. But, you know, I think Tory's trying to come out of a box with it. And then Joyner's almost trying to stay in a box with it.
Okay.
And it's friendly competition. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just think it was good for the culture. I think it was dope. To be honest, like, man, they both did the thing. Like, I can't really, you know, I thought the shit Joyner did at the end of the ZZ where he was like the sun shit, it was kind of cheesy. It was kind of like what Eminem did on Kill Shot. A little cheesy, but at the end of the day, you know, I've heard cheesier shit in rap beefs. So